I'm about as subtle as a death growl in an echo chamber. Hit it!
Welcome backstage. I'm Damian Deadlove. Tonight's band is the one and only White Line. This is a phenomenal group in my opinion, very underrated as musicians and songwriters. Also, you have to understand something. One of the heaviest guys I know, J.J. Burton, who played in thrash and death metal bands most of his career and is a lifelong brother of mine, even he digs White Line. Shout out to J.J. There were some bands out there that did the glam thing for a while because it was what was hot at the moment. Guns N' Roses comes to mind. Tesla was another band. Look at the first album photos of those bands. They look kind of glam. A piece down the road, they're ditching it because they were a rock band underneath it all. They were never about the fad of it all. I consider White Line to be in that ilk. White Line formed in 1983 in New York City. The band was founded by Danish vocalist Mike Tramp and guitarist Vito Bratta, who hails from Staten Island. Right off the bat, the duo had a hard time finding a rhythm section that was stable. Eventually, they recruited drummer Nick Capozzi and bassist Felix Robinson. From the beginning, Tramp and Bratta were the songwriters in the group. In 1984, the band was signed by Elektra Records. They recorded their debut album, Fight to Survive, with the label. However, the execs weren't happy with the recording and wouldn't release it. Worse than that, they terminated their contract with the band. The Fight to Survive album was eventually released by JVC Records out of Japan in 1985. Grand Slam Records out of Philadelphia bought the album from Elektra and released it in America the following year. It charted on the Billboard 200 at number 151, powered by the debut single video, Broken Heart. A few months after release, the record label went bankrupt. After the whole Elektra deal went up in flames, bassist Felix Robinson left the band. He was replaced by Dave Spitz, who happens to be the brother of former Anthrax lead guitarist Dan Spitz. Personally, I think Fight to Survive was a great rock record. One of the things I liked about the band from the get-go was Mike Tramp's lyrics. He wrote about things going on in the world like hunger, war, politics, etc. Sure, there were some power ballads and love songs as well. Bratta is a musical maestro with great riffs, and he's a brilliant lead player. Great songs like Cherokee, Kid of a Thousand Faces, In the City, All Burn in Hell, El Salvador, as well as Broken Heart and the title track. Great debut. Every song on the record is great, even the ones I didn't mention. Tramp, Bratta, Capozzi, and Spitz recorded some demos for a possible second album, as well as continuing to play live around New York. It was this lineup of the group that got hired to play a fictional band in the movie The Money Pit, which starred Tom Hanks and Shelley Long. The band is credited on the song Web of Desire, though it was never released on the soundtrack for the movie. The boys themselves were in 2 clips of the movie performing that song. Capozzi was fired in September '85 and replaced by former Anthrax drummer Greg D'Angelo. Spitz left in early '86 to join Black Sabbath. Bassist James Lomenzo joined in March of that same year. The band's classic lineup was complete. Early in 1987, the band was signed by Atlantic Records. It took the guys only 6 weeks to knock out recording the next record. On June 21st, they released the album Pride. The first single was Wait. Though it was released on June 1st, it took 7 months to reach the charts. They started the tour for Pride in July of '87. They opened for Aerosmith and Kiss, to name a few. Then in 1988, the band landed the opening slot for AC/DC on their Blow Up Your Video American tour. It was while on that tour that the single Wait finally charted at number 8 in the singles chart, and the album Pride charted at number 11 in the album charts. It remained there for a year, going double platinum, folks. It's also because of MTV airing the music video for Wait that the band was finally starting to get over. In August of '88, the band released their second single, Tell Me, charting at number 58. Also around this time, White Line played live at the Ritz Club in New York City. It was filmed and aired on MTV. Pride's third single, the power ballad, When the Children Cry, reached number 3 in the charts with help from MTV playing the song's video in heavy rotation. Pride sold 2 million copies and is by far the band's best-selling album. Vito Bratta's talents didn't go unnoticed. He won Best New Guitar Player in a couple of well-known magazines. All You Need Is Rock and Roll was the final single released. I mean, the whole album is incredible with deep cuts like Hungry, Lonely Nights, All Join Our Hands, and Don't Give Up, to name a few. But the gem of the bunch has to be Lady of the Valley, a live cut and a powerhouse of a song. At the end of 1988, they had finished touring and went straight to working on the next album. In August of '89, they released their third album, Big Game. It was eclectic in its musical layers and songwriting. The first single was Little Fighter, which peaked at number 52 in the charts. It was in memory of the Rainbow Warrior, a Greenpeace boat which was destroyed by the French. The second single released was a cover of the Golden Earring song, Radar Love, which peaked at number 59. I personally dig White Line's version a little more than the original. I don't say that often about covers. Cry for Freedom was the third single, another powerful political song about apartheid in South Africa. This was a band that was not afraid of making their opinions known. Going Home Tonight was the final song released off the album. The deep cuts include Dirty Woman, Let's Get Crazy, Living on the Edge, Don't Say It's Over, and my personal favorite, If My Mind Is Evil. Another great album, in my opinion. It quickly went gold and peaked at number 19 in the charts. Then they toured continuously in support of the record. Though successful, the album got mixed reviews. The band took time off to regroup and work on new material for the next album. In the autumn of 1990, the band entered the studio with a new producer to record that record. In April of 1991, the band released their fourth album, Main Attraction. I remember this because I was a big fan at the time and I was chomping at the bit to get this album. It featured singles like Love Don't Come Easy, which peaked at number 24 on the rock charts, Lights and Thunder, which is an 8-minute masterpiece of rock power with a complex structure, which was inspired, by the way, by Achilles' Last Stand, performed by Led Zeppelin. They also re-recorded their debut single, Broken Heart. All these singles were featured in music videos. Out with the Boys and You're All That I Need was released as promo singles. Blue Monday was the only instrumental ever recorded by White Line. Vito Bratta composed the track as a tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan, who had died while they were writing the album. To me, it's phenomenal. Vito really captured Vaughan's vibe and sprinkled a little of his own style in there as well. The record also had deep cuts like War Song, It's Over, She's Got Everything, Leave Me Alone, and Till Death Do Us Part, to name a few. After a European tour, James Lomenzo and Greg D'Angelo left the band in July of 1991, citing musical differences. White Line moved forward with a brief tour supporting Main Attraction, bringing in Tommy T-Bone Cardona on bass and Jimmy DeGrasso on drums. Tramp and Bratta disbanded the band soon after. In September '91, they played their final show in Boston. A year later, a Best Of album was released. In later interviews, Tramp claimed the band split due to the lack of interest from the record company, bad management, and the whole grunge movement didn't help matters. Tramp has a solo career as well as his version of White Line. Bratta, on the other hand, left the music business. I've read his father was ill and required constant care, and Vito cared for him until he passed. I've never listened to Tramp's version of the group, because to this fan, there is no White Line without Vito. Just my opinion, folks. In closing, this band will always be special to me. For that matter, the song Broken Heart holds a place dear to my heart. I mentioned my brother J.J. Burton at the beginning of this story. We formed a band called Dead Love when we were both about 17 years old. One evening at his parents' house, he put me on the spot to sing something for his parents. That song was Broken Heart. That's our show for tonight. Remember, music is the soundtrack of our lives. Peace, love, and linen. I'm Damian Deadlove.